Next, it's all about who's next. Black and gold, rainbow kaleidoscope colors. Now we've got black and silver. There's many different versions. Dave, did you get a chance to see some of that Homecoming that I sent you?
Yes, I did. And as I was watching it, I'm like, hey, you know what? This segment's all him. It's all him.
Okay.
This is you. You got this. You got this. And you know what? That's not a. I know that again. I know that sounds like I'm sliding. I'm absolutely not. I enjoyed what I saw because I know what I'm looking at. So but I do know this was a big nostalgia thing. A lot of the people that came up there were there doing the show. It was like a mixed main roster with other non-main roster people, stuff like that. So I say that I want you to take the reins on this and drive what it's supposed to feel like, because I feel like this was bigger than I understand. So help me out with that.
It wasn't big. It wasn't big. It wasn't big.
Dude. I was sitting there hoping, like, dude, I know something's here, and I just don't see it, but it's fine.
So it was more nostalgia for the people that took that ride. Yeah, it's fine, right? Exactly.
It's awesome.
But I did a long time ago. Maybe you remember it. Maybe a few people out there. We had the anniversary coming up, so you're going to be hearing a lot of my old shit. But I got roasted. I got torched years ago when the clip, by the way, is on YouTube now. It's one of the few throwback clips that I have because I wanted people to remember when they killed me for this. Right? Because I had people, we did a round table, and I had people at that table, invited into my home, by the way.
Wow, the disrespect.
And they were just like, oh, that's where it got the conversation started. They were like, well, NXT is its own brand. I was like, it is not a brand. Raw and SmackDown are a brand. NXT is developmental. And they would go off, well, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, all these different people. Yes. They're being developed. They're worldwide, famous and world travel. Okay, still being developed because they're being developed into what they're supposed to do with WWE. And I was going through the whole thing. And it came up later again, a few years later, when somebody was really getting up. When NXT was really cooking. So it's Undisputed Era, it's Kevin Owens. I mean, they're really, it's fucking flying. Still not a brand. Still not a brand. How was it? All right. So, since then, people have calmed down, and people have all seemed to have come to the conclusion now that their indie favorites are no longer in NXT, and it's just athletes from different schools trying to pretend to be wrestlers for a while. Now people kind of do get the sense about the developmental part. But the reason why I brought up Homecoming as a diving board, so to speak, into the conversation about how effective NXT really is or has become is because you kind of got a taste of what NXT could really be when it's effective. And what I mean by that is that when you see Finn Balor come back, when you see Rhea Ripley come back, when you see Tyler Breeze or whatever the case may be, there's a few names that came back on this show, just very briefly. But you get a chance to see them through a different lens than you did when they were on NXT. Because there were so many people from those years in NXT that got called up and completely whiffed. It just didn't work itself out. Now, you can blame Vince, you can blame Pritchard, you can blame Michael Hayes, you can blame anybody that you want. You can even blame the talent. Plenty of blame to go around for everybody. Some things click, some things don't. Which leads me to my conversation about the current state of NXT, because Obafemi just recently lost the world title to Ricky Saints, and I've already made my piece. I've said what I've had to say about Ricky Saints. I'm tired of getting all the negative feedback from people about my thoughts on Ricky Saints. I'm good. I'm not going down that path. All right. I don't like him at all as a character, as a wrestler. I don't like anything about him. I don't understand what the thing is with that. To me, that title win is more of an FU to AEW than it is that they actually think he's a fucking world champion, which is nuts. It's nuts for me to think that would be the case. But he beat Obafemi, who was the one guy there that I thought was actual championship caliber. It is what it is. They're calling him up, and everyone's like, "He can't miss. You gotta use him right. You keep the presentation. You do this. You do that." Obafemi, and I don't think you're too familiar with Obafemi, but Obafemi is a big athletic guy. He can cut a decent promo. He can perform pretty good. Good power set. I could see where the hype is with him. But like I tell every single person that gets into this industry, it's not what you can do. It's how they market and promote what you do that gets you over. And I don't see standout from him. And he's, in my opinion, he's the best that NXT currently has. And I don't really see standout. Trick Williams, I kind of see it. He's got a charisma to him, good look, can get in the ring and do some pretty unique stuff, but he's not exactly a ring technician either. His work is okay, but for a guy his size, I feel like he reminds me a lot. This is no disrespect to him. He reminds me a lot of Booker T. He's got the big build, jacked, but he's agile. He's got the big kicks. He can move. He bounces around a lot. But, again, standout, right? So Trick, I feel like, has more standout because he's got that charisma. There's an X factor there with the body. But total package, I like Obafemi. But the phrase "can't miss," that's tough. I think people need to stop putting that shit on NXT talent. They're either gonna hit or they're gonna miss. There's nobody who's can't miss. There were people who doubted that Kevin Owens could ever do anything on the main roster based on his style and look what he did. Finn Balor was considered can't miss. They missed with Finn Balor.
To be fair, hold on. I'm not the big.
You gonna jump on the injury?
I'm gonna shoot him some bail. I think his body gave up on him. I think he had everything to do what he needed to do, but his body could not keep up.
That was in 2016, though. His body hasn't been able to keep up since. His body is still bad?
Absolutely. I think so.
Well, maybe
maybe
there's more to it than that. I don't know then. But I figured if they were going to pull the trigger, they would have pulled it by now. And then to see him come back to NXT Homecoming and it still works. That was my wife and I were talking about it. It was like NXT Homecoming was a school reunion, right? All of the former alumni came back to campus one last time, take a look around. And when Finn did his entrance, it was like the college quarterback who came back, right? The future, like he was the star of the whole thing, but then he graduated, moved on to the pros, and he's had a pretty okay career in the pros. But in college, he was the man, son.
Oh, and,
and all of the Charlotte, Alexa, they did the William Regal got a chance to say War Games for no reason because no one's going to War Games, not from NXT anymore. WWE has that concept now. But there's a lot of talent. You know, I hear a lot about the women's division, right? They were like, "Oh, the women's division is as great as it's ever been," and blah blah, which is fair. They're deep, but Lola Vice, not really buying it. Jada Parker, all great looking women. Kalani Jordan, all great looking women. No doubt about it. Shawn Michaels is down there. He is not a boy toy, but he is an ass magnet. This motherfucker knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. But they're developing, and they're developing longer than normal because they don't have the background. Let's take a look back at the black and gold brand because I said it then. Of course Triple H looks like a genius. He's not working with rookies. Sure, they have to develop into the WWE system and adapt, but they all have a large range of experience to help them with that adaptation. Claudio Castagnoli turning into Cesaro was an easy transition. El Generico becoming Sami Zayn was an easy transition. Kevin Steen becoming Kevin Owens was an easy transition. A lot of these guys, Samoa Joe staying Samoa Joe, was an easy transition. Shinsuke Nakamura was an easy transition.
You didn't have to describe it like that.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe.
Yeah,
Samoa Joe ass.
Samoa Joe is really good at being Samoa Joe.
He's damn good, dude.
He was born to be Samoa Joe. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, he was born for that role.
When that's your card, yeah. You know, look at the Undisputed Era. Cole, Riley, Fish, fucking Roderick Strong. These guys are top of the fuck. These guys were top of the food chain talents before they got to you. Of course, you look like a genius. Because look at the talent that you had. Sean is on the CW network getting ratings, competing with TNA, doing all these different things whilst using people with almost zero outside of the WWE experience. And he's making it work for what he's doing. But it's supposed to be a developmental system that eventually feeds stars into the main roster. I don't see them in NXT. There's a few where I go, okay, like an Ethan Page. I could see him being a dastardly heel on main roster television, but at that build, at that style, at his height, I don't see who is he feuding with as a heel. Babyface Cody? No. A babyface Randy Orton? Maybe, because Randy Orton could actually put over a fucking cut log. He can get in there with a broomstick, even at 75 years old. He can get in there and fucking do the shit that he does. My point is that there's nobody who's going to shoot out of NXT and, like, Finn Balor debuted and became Universal Champion. Kevin Owens debuted, beat John Cena. You know, these guys were fucking ready. We just got to put the machine behind them. None of these individuals are there. But I think it's not a shot at them. It's me saying to people, the reason they're not ready is because they've started from fucking zero. When the black and gold brand was huge, everybody, all the fans wanted everybody called up. Call Cole, call McIntyre, call Neville, call Bray Wyatt, call everybody who got over, call Bayley up, call Sasha up, call Charlotte up, call Becky up, and call Paige up. There was always somebody in the wings where you can go, damn, I can't wait for the NXT was so deep at that point, they were doing yearly call-ups. Every year there was like Enzo and Big Cass and the Ascension, and there was always a call-up every fucking year. WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, there was another call-up. They stopped that because their talents are not ready for that. So I have to ask the question. It's the reason why I brought it up, and I want to put it on social media for you guys to answer the question for me in the chat, in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you think. But I'm not going to sit here and say that current NXT is not effective. It's doing the best job that it possibly can under the circumstances. But no one's ready there. I don't truly believe Obafemi can't miss. I don't believe it. I think he could be successful. Can't miss. Guaranteed. It's a lock. He's going to be a star. I don't think so.
I think they really should, and maybe it's just hard to do because of the way people look at NXT, but I really think it should pivot from developmental to try to like just. And again, I don't know if it's them calling it developmental. I don't know if it's us saying that this is developmental, but I feel like they should just continue. Sean should continue to do what he's doing. This should be an opportunity. So yes, technically developmental, but not for the end all be all of being like brought up. Like I think they should get rid of the draft for it because I think that actually drives that mentality as well, and just let them take that pressure out of there, dude. Let them just be who they are and what they do and develop themselves naturally. And if they end up at the main roster because they've been able to develop some type of product, then that's fucking awesome. But I think they should just be in their own bubble and do what they do. And that's the company they wrestle for. And if they get other opportunities, cool. And I think if we can change that idea of it being a developmental and more again on the lines of, you know, this is the product, and then go from there. I feel like it just would be received better, but I don't know.
I've been over the. You just brought up a trigger word for me, draft. The draft. I've been over the draft for forever. The draft is fucking meaningless. You'll put a guy on Raw and then he'll be on SmackDown as a guest in like 2 weeks. I always believed, and I liked the draft in the beginning when it was the original concept. Now I'm fucking over it. But I believe personally, I think you should treat these brands like you would if they were actual companies, as opposed to brands.
Yes.
So, like, if you're a Raw guy, and it's time for them, like, you want to freshen them up, you want to do something like sending them to SmackDown or even the NXT, whatever the case may be, don't do a draft. Don't draft him to another brand. Treat it like a company. His contract expired. We offered to renew. He chose not to. He heard an offer from SmackDown. He's now signed to SmackDown. Make it look like a business coup as opposed to draft. He's lucky, you know. He got lucky. He got like back in the day. It used to be stupid when they would like Raw drafts. I don't know, fucking AJ Styles. But then like AJ Styles was already on Raw, so you're like, so he's not going anywhere. He just stays right where he. Like, what the fuck are you doing? No, like, okay, his contract came to an end. But good news, everybody. We agreed to a deal. He's re-signed for another year. AJ's staying on Raw. Or something like that. Because at least with the NXT thing, it makes sense. Because every time you do a draft involving NXT, people leave NXT and go to the main roster. No one on the main roster gets drafted to fucking NXT. Right. It never goes the other way. So it doesn't.
Although draft wise, but and this is to your point. I'm agreeing with you, and to your point, it goes a step further because then you'll see stuff like people that are on the main roster are now on NXT, and it feels like a demotion.
Yeah, exactly.
When it really should just be a pivot. Look, your stories. We don't have a story here.
Yeah.
We can use you over here. Yeah. So instead
of
more of like your pivot, right? It's a pivot. It's not, but not right now. To the exact point you were making. Now, when I see someone on NXT who was on the main roster, oh fuck, what happened? They're demoted now. They're back to developmental. That's crazy. So yeah, I agree. I think that's something they should really work on and try to really just separate. You got all these companies now. Like everything can have its own vibe, and it is what it is. Like it doesn't have to be like this big. Like you said, like draft roster thing. Like,
yeah,
we could just keep it separate.
Yeah, I want to give NXT grace here in their developmental process because it does seem to be working out. Lola Vice is not ready for the main event, but if you know that Lola Vice's history is MMA, she's never really been involved with pro wrestling, and then see her perform now, she's doing a phenomenal job for someone who just got the job 2 years ago. For someone who just got into the business 2 years ago, and is in a position where she has to learn on the job in front of an audience every single night, live on fucking television. And then they've been sending her to the AAA shows. So now she's performing in front of a whole completely different audience every now and again. For someone who's been put into that position and is thriving, that's great. Ton of potential there. Not ready. Jada Parker. There were people that were mad she didn't get drafted. That Julia and Stephanie Vakor got drafted, but not. She's not ready. She's still working on that gimmick. The whole "Hey Miss Parker," all that stuff. That shit works, but it ain't over yet. Like for instance, like the times that we've gotten to see them in a taste, like when Jada was in the Royal Rumble, no response, no pop, because just like that commenter who said to us the other day, "Hey, they just did a flag on the pole match the other day." I didn't see it. I don't watch it. Yeah. So it doesn't fucking matter to me that it happened over there. If the tree falls in the woods, does it still make a sound? Yes, it does, but I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
No video. So
I know logically it does, because when I am there and it falls, I hear it. If I was watching NXT and I saw the flag on a pole match, I would go, "Oh, look, a flag on the pole match." But I didn't see it, so I can't say it. I got to go back and watch it. So I'm giving Sean grace. Let him keep doing this thing. He's cooking down there. He's got a few veterans. Jordan Grace in the women's division. Blake Monroe in the women's division. He's got Wes Lee coming back at some point. That's a veteran of that division. Ricky Saints technically is a veteran, but he's developing into the system now. He's the NXT champion. I can't keep having the same argument with. I'm gonna stop calling them my friends after a while because they keep trolling me with this shit. The people are treating this guy like he's their gender. There's only one gender, my guy. There's only one.
There's only one.
There's only one gender, Mahal. And, you know, this guy has a huge fan base. I can't take it or take that away from him. I cannot stand Ricky Saints. I just found out the other day he was black. They were like, he's a black man. I said, where? I was like, what? Because they brought him up because
the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It has. The reason why it keeps coming up is because there's this conversation that Triple H is a racist, right? He doesn't book or promote black people. On NXT, they just recently had like this main event where it was like Javon Evans, Moose, or some Trick Williams or some shit, right? And then there was like another, like the whole main event was black guys. And then people were sharing a picture of it. They were like, Triple H would never, or whatever the fucking case may be. And so Ricky won the title last week. And when he won the title, that was, for some reason, that was the whole social media post. Another black NXT world champion. I said, he's black? And somebody else, I didn't get a chance to write it. Somebody else, the comments was like, Ricky Saints is black? And they're like, yeah, what did you think he was? And then somebody wrote underneath, I just thought it was a dirty Cuban or something. Like, I didn't realize he wrote dirty Cuban. I was like, yeah.
I get Hispanic a little bit. Yeah.
I think it was more on the Hispanic side. Nobody really thought he was a black dude. He definitely don't move like no goddamn black guy. It was like, all right, whatever, fine. Okay, he's black.
Sure, dude, you got it.
Maybe he's Afro-Caribbean or some shit. I don't fucking know. Whatever the fuck all that shit is. So yeah. So congrats to him. I fucking guess, but he's not my cup of tea. I don't get into that. I don't know. He still, not for nothing, has one of the fruitiest taunts I've ever seen. That shit with the hand in the face, and he does. Oh my god, he's so fucking cringe. His gear looks like a diaper. Okay, no, I'm getting off. I'm not gonna sit here and shoot these shots. Fuck all that shit. Oh god, drives me fucking. This is why I'm a terrible coach. Because I will uplift you when things are going right. But when you fucking up,
damn, you going to tear them down?
I'm going to have you fucking reconsidering existing. I don't want to see any of this shit around me. I go too far sometimes. But that's me. That's how I live my life.
Fair enough.
To the edge. Or to the cope. Whatever he wants to call himself now.
I can give you